Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Mixed Media Mayhem. Today our recipe involves glitter, doodling, and ink or paint. And I chose to use ink. And I'm going to do quite a bit of ink blending here. I am starting out with this stencil from Kaisercraft. I will drop the name of the stencil and all of the products that I used today that are available in my description box down below so that you can find those if you are inclined to want to purchase them. And if you do use those links, that does help me out just a bit, so I do appreciate that. But it is not required and it does not cost you any additional money if you do choose to use those links. So I am using this stencil as an actual stencil, old school, like trace it and then cut it out, rather than using it to do my ink blending, because I really want the pattern to show and I want it to kind of be layered. I suppose I could have used it on the bottom half of the paper. No, I couldn't have, because I want those little waves to stick out, and I want to be able to tuck these photos of this little one that I take care of in behind those splashes. So I pulled out several different inks here. They're all Distress Oxides. I know I have some Faded Jeans, some Stormy Sky, Peacock Feathers, Broken China, I believe, and I'm not sure what the other one is, but I am going to hold that list up for you in just a few moments, and you'll be able to see it. So, and plus they're going to be linked down below, so if you really need to know the colors, you can look down below. And I'm just using my ink blending tool. I want kind of like a mottled look. I don't want it to be like perfect in any way. I want it to kind of be, I don't want to say splotchy, but I want it to have a variety of color throughout. So I'm just kind of pulling in the varying shades here and there. That bottom color, the Peacock Feathers, is a lot more towards the green, so I'm only using a hint of that here and there. And then the Faded Jeans, I am using quite a bit of that throughout the layout, and that's the one that I'm currently dipping in right there. At least I believe that's Faded Jeans. It might be Stormy Sky, actually. So I think Stormy Sky is the other one that I'm using. So yeah, that one's Stormy Sky, and I think the one right above it is the Faded Jeans. But at any rate, I've got a whole variety here, and I am just laying them down, not really with any pattern in mind, but kind of, like I said, a little bit splotchy, kind of like a sky would be, but this is really going to be ocean, or not ocean, it's going to be water. It's bath water, because the photos that I have are of the little girl I take care of in the tub. You can only see like from her shoulder up, and so there's no, like, you know, question about booty shots or anything like that. You just see her shoulder up, and she has a huge grin on her face, and you guys don't get to see that because I do have a post-it over her face in all three photos, just for privacy purposes. She is not my kid, and out of respect for her family, I always cover her photo. And but you can trust me, her smile is huge in it. She is just got this enormous grin. She's so happy to be in the tub, and she's playing, and definitely wanted to capture that for her album. And so I think last week we also had ink blending on the list, and I just used my brushes with two colors over some flowers, which was very simple. So you are getting a much better look at ink blending here. Even though I'm not blending it out perfectly, that is intentional in this particular case. A lot of times, you know, you have to go over it quite a bit more to get a more fluid look to the colors, to have them blend a little smoother. And like I said, I'm kind of going for this blotchy look, kind of when you see the shadows in the water. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well, but when the water has shadows underneath it and you can see them move as the water moves, that's kind of like the look I'm going for. And I really like the way that this turns out, so it makes me super happy. While I finish that up, just want to remind you that this is a hop that we do every week. Normally we have a recipe on the every Friday, with the exception of the last Friday of the month. We actually do a scrap lift, and everyone is invited to play along for that scrap lift. So we have a Facebook group. You can go and check that out. If you're not already part of it, you should go and join it. And the link for the Facebook group is down below for you. And the inspiration piece is posted well in advance so that you can play along on the last Friday of the month if that is something that is of interest to you. And you are not too late to play along with the inspiration for this coming or next Friday, because that is the last Friday of the month. So you got a week to do it if you have some time off this week and you want to play around. It's an awesome layout from Missy Wooden that we are lifting. So right here I am going to be sprinkling some water over the top of that splotchy, watery mess there. And that is just to kind of give more of a mottled look to the water. And it's kind of hard to see it on screen right now. At one point, I do hold everything up so that you can kind of see where, oh, there you can actually see kind of the watermarks. But I'm going to hold it up because I'm going to also do some stamping on here. And I'm going to hold it up close to the camera so that you can see that a little bit better. I am just marking where the two outside photos are tucking in because I don't want them tilted, and I don't want like the white gap of where the cut out of the water is to just have this gap, but I don't want the photos to tilt either. So I'm just cutting like a little slice into them so I can slide the photo down into the groove. So, and that way they will remain level, not tilted, and I can not have a gap of white underneath them. And then I just marked where the photos are going to be, and then I have these circle templates that I created on my silhouette. I just had a piece of, it's not really acetate, I don't know what this is, but it does work with acetate as well. And I just cut varying sizes of circles, and I am just using my blending brush. I'm not really adding any ink to them, and I'm just rubbing them in a circle around the circle template. And it's creating these bubbles. And this is not something I came up with. I know Vicki Boutin did this on a live quite some time ago. And I think she called it the bokeh effect. Works for bokeh also. But I don't know if she was the creator of this technique or not either. I don't recall if she said in the video if it's something she came up with or if it was something that she learned from someone else. But anyway, at any rate, I am creating these bubbles that I want to be floating around the photos. I really like how that looks. The kind of a random, haphazard, but still balanced on the paper layout look to them. And I like the way that it is coming out. Having some of these little tiny ones, just going over them super light so that as they go, you know, kind of higher in the sky or float away, they're more and more transparent or less visible. And then I'm going to do some right over the top of the bottom piece as well. Not that there are necessarily a lot of bubbles in the water, but just to give more, I don't want to say texture to the water, but movement to it maybe, I don't know. I do end up liking the way that the water looks. It looks really cool with all of the splatter and all of the stamping that I end up doing. So I'm taking my close to my heart, I don't know if this shimmer pen, I think it's called a shimmer pen. It doesn't say on it, but I believe it's called a shimmer pen, and it is the clear one. So the sparkle that comes out is just a silvery white kind of color. And so I squeezed quite a bit into the barrel, and I did a bunch of big drips, and oddly they came out very uniform in size. And then I squeezed a bunch more into the barrel, and then I'm tapping it off on the side so it gives me a really fine kind of powder, not powder, a fine coverage over it, and you can kind of see it there in the blue down in the top of the blue, what is the top of the blue right now. And I'm really liking the way that that looks. It gives it a little bit of that iridescent look that Soap Bubbles has. And I'm pretty happy with the way that that turned out. I am going to ink up the edge of my paper all the way around just to kind of keep it uniform and give it a little bit of a border. I mean, I'm not going in really far with the ink here, so it's not like a border frame or anything that by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a little bit of a depth of color to the edge. And then I'm going to go ahead and start tucking my photos in, covering up the lines that I created with my pencil so that I would know where to create my bubbles. And I'm liking how that is looking. I think it looks super cute. I wasn't really quite sure how far up to go with the mixed media portion at the bottom, so I created that on a piece of white paper and I just kept going further down. Here is the list of all of the inks: Tumbled Glass, Faded Jeans, Prize Ribbon, Peacock Feathers, and Stormy Sky. And then I pulled out this stamp set, which is from Close to My Heart also, and it's a fishy stamp set, and I believe it's an older set that might be retired. I'll put the name of it down below for you in case you're interested in that. But I just want the little bubbles. And all I'm doing is I am dipping the bubbles. I sprayed a little bit of water on the backer of the stamp holder or the packaging. And I'm dipping the ink pad into that water. And I'm just stamping it off onto the Oxide inked portion of the paper. And then I pulled out my Catherine Pooler ink in Serene, and I am just stamping a few more little tiny bubbles above these big bubbles in this really soft bluish purple kind of color. It goes really well with the bottom portion of the layout, and I'm really liking how that looks. And then there's also this little wave stamp, so I pulled that out, dipping it into the water, and I am again going over the layout. And I know that's really hard to see on camera, so I apologize for that, but I'm going to hold it up here in just a moment so that you can see quite a bit better what it looks like. And my apologies, it looks like I used the Tranquil Catherine Pooler ink, not Serene. Here is the close-up of what it looks like with all of those extra little bubbles. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of an idea of what that extra little work was for. And then I'm pulling out my Colorcast Designs acrylic, and I'm using this word that says Splish Splash. I love the color of this, the little splash that's coming off of it. It works perfectly with this layout, so I thought I'd go ahead and put it on here. And then I found this little flourish swoosh that looks a little bit like a wave, and I'm going to use that to kind of create a diagonal pattern with my embellishments. So a lot of times I will layer things up for embellishments, and in this case I chose not to do that. I'm going with a very stacked looking arrangement for my embellishments, and I'm leaving plenty of room for writing. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to write on this or if I'm going to leave it for her mom to write on. I was not there for these photos, but I do know she does enjoy her bath time, so I don't know. I think I'm going to probably leave it for her mom to write on, but there's plenty of space here for her to jot some things down about her personality or how much she enjoys the water and such. Here I'm just kind of going back and forth with whether or not I want my stack to kind of have a little movement to it, and I want to offset them from each other, but I decided to go with a kind of straight stack right under the word that says splash. And the reason I was thinking I might stagger them is because the splish and the splash are staggered from each other, but I decided I'm just going to go ahead and keep them nice and straight. And then I kind of went back and forth with this upper area as well, and I really do like the way the upper area looks with them staggered, but I end up going with a nice straight stack up there also. Some of these pieces I am popping up onto some foam tape. The very top piece and the very bottom piece are not on foam, but the other pieces are, just to give a little more dimension. And the flourish that is blue and right above the photo on the left hand side, that is also chipboard, so it has dimension to it already, as does the acrylic, of course. So I wanted to continue with a little bit of dimension and you know, not have it just be really flat to the page. Those little tiny pieces that I just cut out, I know those are probably hard to see on your screen, but they're like folded paper boats and they are blue. And so I thought those would work really cute on this page. Not that she's got a boat in there, but much like you would possibly use a rubber ducky, I thought a boat would work also. So I decided to go ahead and add those to the page. I don't have anything else yellow on this page other than the post-its that are across her face, which I know is a little bit distracting. Unfortunately, I don't have any white post-its, which are a little less distracting. But at the end, I do my still photos with white over her face instead of the yellow. So hopefully it doesn't just draw you straight to the yellow when you're looking at it. But there's nothing else yellow on this page, so I didn't want to add any rubber duckies, but I thought these blue boats worked very well. So another monochromatic layout for me, which I really do enjoy monochromatic. I don't know why, but they feel really like they're really easy to put together, and I enjoy them. So why not, right? I am using my mini Zotz Bling to go ahead and adhere all of that acrylic. I also pulled out my crystal katana because that little tiny dark blue splash piece right above the H in Splish, I was having a hard time picking it up, and because it's nestled between two pieces of acrylic, and my tweezers, sometimes when you pick it up, it just wants to like slide out of the tweezers, and then it flings across the room, and it's really hard to find. So I was thinking, well, maybe my crystal katana will pick it up, but it just did not have enough surface on the crystal katana to pick up the weight of the acrylic. So it's really made for beads and like small beads and sequins. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and adhere these upper pieces as well now. I'm really liking the way that this is looking. I hope that you are enjoying it too, and I want to remind you to go and check out everyone else who is playing along. I know I mentioned that before, that there was a hop going on, but I don't think I told you. All of the links to the channels of people playing along are down below, so you can go and check those out. So I went through my little bin of acrylic confetti pieces, and there was this asterisk in there that matches the center water droplet in the acrylic that's next to Splish Splash. So I decided to pull that in, and then I pulled in a heart that matches the darker blue. And so I've got my ink, I've got my glitter in the glitter pen, and the doodling. I am just adding a white sketchy line around the bottom half of this layout, and I am going to add a dark blue line, navy blue line around the top half, just to kind of flip-flop it, since the dark is at the bottom right now. I'm going to bring in the dark up to the top, and with the white at the top, I brought white down to the bottom. So that is pretty much going to do it, you guys. I am using a Muji 0.5 navy blue pen for the top and an Arteza 0.8 white gel pen for the bottom. If you have any questions about these pens, you can let me know, and I'm happy to try and get some more information on them for you, but they are not pens that are like available on the scrapbooking sites, so you have to look elsewhere for them. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and I will be back again next Friday with another Mixed Media Mayhem, and tomorrow with another 14 Days of Christmas layout. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.